Hello guys, this is PushDustIn with Source Gaming, and joining me today is Tris.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about the Zelda smartphone game. Of course, this is just a rumor. It was reported by the Wall Street Journal, and they say that the Legend of Zelda is the next mobile game right after Animal Crossing. And of course, Nintendo and Dana refused to comment, but what do you think of this rumor?
So, this was sudden, and looking through it, I mean, it makes sense considering how big Zelda is and how much bigger Zelda became because of Breath of the Wild.
Yep. Yeah, Breath of the Wild certainly made Zelda on everyone's mind again. Also, yeah, last year was the 30th anniversary, right?
Yep, yeah. They seem like they're kind of pushing that into this year, but...
Yep. Yeah, because of the delay with Breath of the Wild, probably. So, what form do you think this app could take?
So, considering things like Fire Emblem Heroes were surprising, I feel like Mario Run was kind of surprising, but it makes perfect sense. I've been thinking for the last few minutes as to what they could do with Zelda, and for some reason, one of the first ideas I got was like a kind of like a tower defense against Guardians. So it's like set in Breath of the Wild's world, like rebuilding towns, and you're just defending the town from incoming Guardians and enemies. Which can be simple, like placing things and tapping. I think they try to keep their mobile games fairly simple, I would say. But
yeah. I think you could argue that Fire Emblem Heroes is just a simplified version of Fire Emblem, and Super Mario Run is just a simplified version of Mario.
Yeah.
So I think a Zelda mobile game would probably be a simple version of Zelda.
Yeah. I just have trouble figuring out how exactly that would play out on mobile.
Yeah. I guess like I can't really imagine Nintendo doing the virtual joystick on the screen.
Yeah, I can't see it either.
Yeah, because they didn't do it with Mario, and they haven't done it with Fire Emblem Heroes. So I don't know how they could make Zelda simple, but that's the direction I feel like they would be going in.
Actually, I can totally see them taking some of the more iconic minigames from different Zelda games and making that like a full-blown mobile game. Like especially some of the minigames in like Wind Waker, for example, the little kaboom minigames where it's like the battleship basically. I can totally see them making minigames such as that into one full-blown game where it's just a ton of different levels, and then milking it like Mario Run, where all these different statues you can place in the main area which don't actually do anything.
Yeah, a lot of people go crazy over that decoration aspect. One thing that they could do is like going back to Wind Waker, like the swinging back and forth.
Yep.
And you had to kind of time your jump.
Yeah.
Maybe they could make a game based off of that, and then also add like a couple of enemies and other elements that you have to time instead of moving around.
So it would be like an auto mover, so to say, and that's just timing when to actually perform an action. Okay.
It's kind of bad to say, but almost like Flappy Birds.
I mean, sure. I was thinking even just like Mario Run auto runs, you just tap to jump. This would be like Zelda, you're automatically moving and jumping. You're just like tapping to advance, so to say, like to let go of the swinging. Or I mean, it could also be like, I don't know why this popped in my head, but if it was like an auto-scrolling Zelda 2 and then you tap to attack the enemy.
Okay.
But it's just something simple, I would think. But I mean, Fire Emblem Heroes can get kind of complicated if you really dive into it, so I don't really know what form this would take.
I feel like with Miitomo, Fire Emblem Heroes, and Mario Run, you could all play them basically with one hand.
Right.
And I think Nintendo's really pushing that idea with mobile games. Like, these games are supposed to be simple. So, maybe you'll be on Epona. That's another possibility.
Oh, it could be like an arching game, like an archery game then.
Yep.
So you're kind of like, especially in like Ocarina of Time and others, where you're horseback and you're shooting at targets. Oh, I can really see that now, actually.
Yeah, it could be something like that. I just think it would have to be played with one hand. So
it would be awkward for them not to, because then it suddenly feels like it's a much more complicated game for them. Although, I guess you would have to see what they do with the Animal Crossing one, too, to see if it follows that trend.
That's true.
Because
That's true.
If it doesn't follow that trend, that's an entirely different aspect they could pull.
Yeah, and speaking of the Animal Crossing, we know that it's been delayed because, well, the rumors say that because of it was unfun to play, so they're kind of reworking it.
That's interesting, honestly.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens when the Animal Crossing one actually comes out. I'm hoping that they actually have some sort of connection with the mainline games eventually, these mobile games.
I think it depends on which ones. Like, I can't see Fire Emblem Heroes really connecting much, just because it pulls from everything. But, like, I could see, like, for example, like, certain statues in Mario Run, like, hey, you want this on your title screen, you can connect to your Mario Run game. Like, little simple things like that. But in terms of, like, bringing characters and all that.
Yeah, not like full-fledged connections or anything, but just
no.
like little bonuses. Kind of like Amiibo.
Yeah, I could see that.
Well, do you have anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap this up?
I guess just the fact that if the Animal Crossing mobile game was delayed multiple times now, is this really going to come out when they say it is, of like late this year or something along those lines?
That's a good point, yeah.
Because I actually don't think we'll be seeing this until maybe like the fall, considering we haven't even seen the Animal Crossing game at all yet. And it was first name dropped at the same time as the Fire Emblem mobile game, before it was even known as Fire Emblem Heroes.
Wasn't it announced at the same time as Miitomo?
I think Miitomo came out, and then like a month or two later they announced they're going to be making an Animal Crossing and a Fire Emblem game for mobile, and then they just went quiet again. And then I think suddenly then Mario Run. So I don't actually know. Yeah,
Mario Run had that exclusive with Apple for a while. So I think that's why they kind of just suddenly announced it. But yeah, I think that basically wraps up our discussion. So Tris, where can people find you?
So you guys can find me on Twitter at tsfreelink25 or over at my own YouTube channel, Weehee, the Let's Playing channel.
And I'm PushDustIn. You can follow me on PushDustIn. You can also stay subscribed to this channel for more news, speculation, rumors, translations, and lots of other things. PushDustIn. You can also stay